Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. If you use the 559 area code, and that's a lot of us, you'll soon start seeing a big change.
The 559 is running out. It will run out soon. And so if that happens and there's nothing in place, then we can't give out any new phone numbers.
Coming up, we'll discuss how regulators are working to fix this. But first, these news headlines. A man from Connecticut is the latest to be swept up as part of the failed Bitwise Industries saga. Andrew Adler has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Prosecutors accused him and a business partner of defrauding investors of $20 million in loans. Those loans were made to Bitwise Industries. Prosecutors say Adler and his business partner misled investors by altering loan documents and forging signatures. He faces sentencing in June. The CEOs of Bitwise Industries, meanwhile, were sentenced to prison in December. Agencies that control water are releasing more this year to farmers and cities in California. KVPR's Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado reports that water allocations are up from both the state and federal government.
The water allocations announced this week from the state are greater than they were just a few weeks ago, and those who rely on allocations from the federal government are getting more than twice than what they got last year. Water districts are celebrating this. However, the allocations are nowhere near the full amount available in water contracts. Generally, allocations take into consideration how much water is stored in reservoirs, how much rain has fallen, and how much snowpack there is in the Sierra Nevada. Water officials caution that the San Joaquin Basin is critically dry for this time of year. And they say so far the 2025 water year has been inconsistent, making future allocations unpredictable. And because of that, state officials are trying to maximize the water that's come from recent storms, like capturing stormwater and recharging aquifers. For KVPR News, I'm Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado.
Fewer Californians are smoking each year, helping the state reduce its lung cancer death rate by about 60% since 2001. That's according to the Department of Healthcare Services. State officials like Democratic Assemblymember Don Addis from San Luis Obispo say that's a good thing, except when it comes to tobacco taxes.
We're all very happy that people are smoking less, but obviously it's causing funding issues, and I do hear about them quite a bit in my community.
Those funds go to programs to help people stop smoking and tobacco research, as well as family planning, women's health, and dental services, among other things. The Department of Public Health is looking to lawmakers to find other sources for that funding. Some churches in the Fresno area are weighing whether to offer sanctuary to immigrants without legal status. The Trump administration last month lifted a policy that had prevented immigration enforcement actions at churches. But leaders with the Fresno Unitarian Universalist Church tell our news partner Fresno Land they may go against that order. They say they're considering offering shelter to at least one immigrant later this year. It's unclear what kind of legal battle this would set up with immigration agencies or the courts.
Support for Central Valley Daily comes from the members of KVPR. Join at $8 or more per month and access ad-free NPR podcasts through NPR Plus. Give now at kvpr.org/donate.
And now to our main story. There's a new area code coming to the San Joaquin Valley. Starting in March, if you are opening a new phone line as a business or a resident in the 559 area, there is a chance you could be assigned a sequence of 3 new digits, 357. The new 357 area code will cover parts of Fresno, Kings, Madera, Mariposa, Merced, and Tulare counties. The California Public Utilities Commission is in charge of administering new area codes. CPUC officials say they are starting what's known as an overlay. That's when a new area code is integrated into an existing region. So current 559 numbers won't be affected, but you could start seeing calls from this new area code. There's also an important change starting today with how you need to dial out a phone number. To break down these changes, we spoke with Siamak Donaghy. He's a regulatory analyst with the CPUC. Here he is explaining why our region is adding the 357 area code.
Area codes are finite, right? They run out. There's only a certain amount that we have available, and the 559 is running out. It will run out soon. And so if that happens and there's nothing in place, then we can't give out any new phone numbers. So we add this overlay, this new 357, so that anybody that needs a new phone can get that phone number.
Okay, and for folks listening who are curious, is this mainly for cell phones? Is this landlines, businesses? Who does this impact?
So it's everything. Nowadays, with the Internet of Things, we got watches, cell phones. I've even seen some dog collars that require phone numbers, right? Because they connect to the internet, they connect to the cell towers. So basically anything that has a phone number associated with it, something that connects to the internet via cell towers, it has a phone number assigned to it. So anything that needs a phone number, it will affect. And with that said, on February 26th, when the 10-digit dialing comes into effect, if you have something that dials out, like a security system or a gate code, some gates need to dial out, things like that, you will need to make sure, if it's not already on 10-digit dialing, that you will need to switch it over to that, or it won't be able to call out.
Yeah, let's talk about this 10-digit dialing. For folks who aren't familiar with what that is, they're going to need to start ensuring that they dial 1 before an area code, right? Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Exactly, yeah. So right now, if somebody wants to dial out, they just dial the phone number, the 7-digit. Going forward, you will need to dial 1 plus the area code, then the phone number. So it's 10 digits, 1 area code, and then the 7-digit phone number.
I feel like some folks already do that. Is that true?
Yeah. Like I said before, the majority of California does. And there is some people that are used to it from landlines back in the day when you called long distance, you had to do that. Or if even now, if you're calling long distance from your cell phone, you do need to dial the area code first, right? So there is people that have already been doing that. And a lot of California is doing that now. But it is still possible to just dial 7 digits in 559, and that's going to be a change going forward. So anybody that tries to dial 7-digit after the transition, their call won't be connected.
Got it. So is it mainly a population growth situation that prompts new area codes?
That's one part of it, but cell phones did escalate it a little bit because it went from one household having one phone to having multiple phones. And then now Internet of Things is escalating it even further because of all the things, the digital devices that need phone numbers.
And in what instance would someone be a candidate for getting a new area code? Is this mainly new phone lines from here on out?
Yeah, it could be, or if somebody wants to change their phone number. But with that said, you could also still get a 559 because let's say I have a 559 area code and I want to change my phone number. And when I go, the only ones available are 357. So I get a 357. Well, that old 559 area code will be recycled. So then if somebody else goes to get it, they may get that. So if somebody does go to get a new phone number, it could be 559 or it could be 357.
Interesting. So basically adding more to the rotation, and depending on when you enter that rotation, that could determine your area code.
Correct.
And what kind of work's happening behind the scenes to make this change happen? Is it more complicated than people might think?
So for me on my side, it's more of a regulatory, right? So I'm not in there doing the technical stuff. But for me, it's more making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. There is some technical things, which is above my pay grade, that do happen behind the scenes because obviously they are adding a new area code specifically for an area. So things need to happen.
What has the CPUC done to advertise this? I mean, I would think there would have been a lot of public awareness so people are familiar. Otherwise, if you start getting calls from a area code you don't recognize, you might think it's spam. How important has been public education in this move?
Yeah, so there has been multiple press releases. We did a presentation webcast, a video showing and talking about everything. And then also the service providers, all of them put on their bill So when the customer gets the bill, a notice about it, and then some even send out text messages. For example, my service provider, because of the area that I'm in and overlays happening, I actually got a text message from them explaining there's a new phone number, a new area code going to be added soon, and you're going to be going from 7-digit to 10-digit dialing. So anybody who has a phone in that area should have gotten a notice.
Okay, and this new area code 357 will launch on March 26th. Is that correct?
No, March 20. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You are correct. March 26th is the day that customers could potentially get the new 357 area code.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, CMAC?
No, it's very important that all the customers check the devices that they have that may dial out to make sure that they're either set on 10-digit or to set them up for 10-digit, because things like security systems are extremely important. And if they can't call, if they're not on 7-digit, they won't be able to call out.
CMAC Donahue, regulatory analyst with the California Public Utilities Commission. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Again, starting on March 26th, customers requesting new or additional telephone numbers may be assigned the 357 or the 559 area code. And don't forget to dial 1 before making a call. And that's today's show. Today's episode was produced by Jonathan Linden and KVPR with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
Each morning, it's a new opportunity, a chance to start fresh. Up First from NPR makes each morning an opportunity to learn and to understand. Choose to join the world every morning with Up First, a podcast that hands you everything going on across the globe and down the street, all in 15 minutes or less. Start your day informed and anew with Up First by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts.